Have you ever woken up and felt like I wasn't alone last night? Well, I mean, not, come on, let's be PG about this, but I wasn't alone in my dreams last night. Something happened in my dreams. I visited someone in my dreams, or perhaps someone visited me. And what was that about, Susan? Well, we call that dream walking, actually. You were walking in your dreams and you were meeting someone else, perhaps in a liminal space, right? In a space that exists, that is a place where you can meet others. Now, I will just tell you that typically you're not just going to be able to waltz right into someone else's dreamland. That is not really, it's kind of frowned upon. Let's put it that way. It's not allowed, but you can agree to meet someone, and this happens quite often. I find in the spiritual community as people are expanding their abilities and playing around with the idea of leaving their body, whether during meditation or sleep, I find that people say, hey, let's try to meet in our dreams, right? A lot of married people or people who are in, maybe they're just one night stand meeting in their dreams. I don't know. I just know that it is agreed upon with both people. So you both agree, let's meet in our dreams. And maybe you even go as far as to say, let's meet at that ice cream shop or that coffee shop or that concert, because that way your brain kind of has an idea of where you want to meet. And I would say that maybe out of 5 times that you try this, maybe you meet each other 3 times, which is pretty cool, right? Because basically you're connecting with someone else in a subconscious way in a liminal space, which is pretty amazing. Now, I feel like this is not the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to suggest that you just don't walk around asking your kids or your spouse or your best friend to meet you in sleep time, because they probably are not going to understand what you're saying. It's not something, again, that I think that average person could do. You really have to have a pretty good sense of what your subconscious is and what astral travel is and what dream walking is, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Also, I would say to you, another way that someone can visit you in your dreams is someone who's passed over, someone who's no longer here on this plane of existence could visit you in your dreams. Now, we call that a visitation because they actually are a soul that is no longer here on planet Earth, and they actually come into your dream and talk to you or give you a message or spend time with you and maybe give you an emotional message. Maybe I just felt that I was so happy. I was so happy to see them. They were so happy to see me. All of that is communication. Communication can happen through your thoughts, through your feelings, but also, speaking, right? There's lots of ways that can happen. And the thing about visitations is that it's so real. You feel like you're hugging them again. You feel like you're really there with them. It can be a little bittersweet because, well, we miss these people. They're no longer with us. And when they come to us in their dreams, especially as a visitation, it is so real that we want it to be true. We want to wake up again and have them back in our lives here in this timeline. But that's the bittersweet part. They're not. Now, people that have crossed over, pets that have crossed over, they can visit you in your dreams and it not be a visitation. You may dream about a person. Now, that's different because what's happening when you're dreaming about someone is you're working it out in your own sort of subconscious space. You're working it out within your own energy. You dreamed about them, you dreamed that you went on a trip or whatever it was that you had that dream. The difference between that and a visitation is the visitation, that person comes to you, they visit you. And I find that dreams typically fade. You more often than not, you don't even remember your dreams. And if you do remember them, they tend to fade pretty easily. Visitations, where a person who's no longer on this plane of existence, no longer on planet Earth, when they visit you, it can stay with you forever. The feeling can stay with you forever. It's truly that they visited you in this liminal space which is your subconscious, because you're asleep, they were able to connect with you. So, if you want, you can ask for your loved ones to meet you in your dreams. I would say that I wouldn't expect that to happen immediately. Again, this is something that sometimes we need to work up to, or we need to try for a while before we're successful. Some people might be successful every single time. Others might not be successful for quite a long while. Also, keep in mind that even though your loved one is on the other side and you feel like they're just sitting around doing nothing, well, actually, they're pretty busy over there, right? They're doing their thing. They're visiting other family members. But not only that, it takes a lot of energy for your subconscious and their subconscious, for those two energies to connect. It's just not like driving to the coffee shop and meeting each other there. It's quite a bit harder than that. So even though they want to meet you, it is their plan to meet you. The energy might not work that day. Energy is energy. Sometimes it's strong, sometimes there's an opening, sometimes the door closes. And for us humans, we don't always know that. We're not always aware of that. So we say, why doesn't this work? I'm trying really hard. Well, you have to realize it's sort of like a tennis match or catch. You threw your request over there. They have to catch it and throw it back to you. It's not just you. So please give yourself a lot of chances, or just be gentle with yourself, because this isn't something that you can do on demand. Even people like me that talk to dead people all the time, sometimes I'm just not able to get through. So, and that's energy, right? It's just the gate closed, the door closed, the energy got, sketchy, whatever. So, but do try it. Just give yourself, a lot of passes to not get it right, because it's really more like a very, very special thing that happens instead of every night. Okay. If you're going to do that, if you're going to go to sleep and you're going to say, I really want to meet my loved ones, you might also make the intention that I'll also meet my spirit guides. So if my spirit guides or my higher self have a solution or a message for me, I'm happy to have that as well, right? Why not open the possibilities up so that you can have those kinds of things? And then, as far as dream walking, connecting to others who are alive on this planet, that again takes some effort, and it's kind of a hit and a miss. But I think the more you do it, the more successful you can be with that. And that's just fun. It's not like, you know, you're getting the keys to the universe or anything, but it can be kind of fun to connect with other people. And then, by the way, I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. This is part of my series called Wisdom on Wednesdays, which I do every single Wednesday. Lots of interesting topics. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. You'll know when it's Wednesday, because I'll have one of these videos. And also, I am channeling, and what I was just getting interrupted by my spirit guides to say, that this dream walking, where you call a friend or you ask your spouse or your housemate or whatever it is, and you say, let's try to meet at that really cool place. It really does help if they have a visceral understanding, like, I remember that concert. It was the best concert of my life. Let's meet there. I remember that day in the coffee shop and it started raining. So you want to have a visceral memory, or an emotional connection, because emotion is everything, right? So that helps you get to the place. If you're bored, you forgot about it. It was, yeah, I don't know, I don't really remember anything about it. How are you gonna go back, right? So you wanna pick the places that have the emotion, okay? And the thing they interrupted me to say was, this is a little bit like remote viewing. Now, remote viewing is very different, but this is a little bit like it in the sense that you are remotely viewing, or even traveling to another place to meet someone, right? So if you can do this, or you want to do this, I might suggest that if you are successful, and you're saying, wow, we really did meet at the coffee shop, have the conversation because this is going to be very interesting and it kind of aligns with the idea of remote viewing. Ask your person, whoever that was, well, what was I wearing? Right? How did I seem? Did I have this hairstyle? Did you feel like the place was loud? Was there anybody else there? Ask questions because now what you're doing is you're flexing those muscles, those remote viewing muscles, those intuition muscles. And you can then, when you decide to do it again, your brain, your subconscious part of your brain is going to pay attention to those things. And then you can say, did you see the bookcase? What did you both notice? You're really working out your intuitive muscles. Now, when you work out something, sometimes it gets tired, right? And sometimes you can't do all the same workout that you hoped to do. So again, give yourself some space to get it wrong or get it right. And also, this is the third time they've reminded me this. In our excitement, sometimes we think the other person is excited as we are, but they're kind of going along because you're so excited. And if they're just going along, it's not going to work that well because the emotion's not there, right? Because they're not really into it. So be aware, right? Like if they're just like trying to be nice or play along, that it might not work as well, right? And try not to force them or push them or encourage them to do something that they're just not into because it won't work. Okay. So sometimes you have to find the right person who's just as excited as you are, and then your vibrations match. Then things can happen, right? And this could be a friend, this could be an adult child of yours, it could be a spouse or a partner. Try it out. There's not a lot of laws or rules around this except for do no harm, right? Now, I want to talk about astral travel. Astral travel is different than dream walking, it's different than a visitation. It's when this mostly, I'm just checking my spirit guides. Mostly this is you by yourself, right? You're a lone journeyer. You're taking a walk out of your physical environs. You're taking a walk out of your physical body, you're taking a walk out of your physical container, the house, the country, the whole thing. You are going into space. Now, I think this is really interesting because they're reminding me you have to be a little careful here, right? Because you wouldn't just get in your car or go get on any bus or grab any Uber. You wouldn't just do that without a destination. You wouldn't just get into Uber or the Lyft and say, "Take me somewhere. I don't care. I just want to get I just want to see something different." That's probably not the right way to do that, right? You could find yourself in a place that you don't like, that is not safe or not a place that you're enjoying. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're going to a place we're going to enjoy and we're going to a place that's safe. So when you do astral travel, I think the most common thing is you just go out into the universe. I mean, it's not like you're not going to come back, you're going to come back. But the problem is that you could pick up what I call STDs. Yes, I'm calling them STDs because they're spiritually transmitted diseases. You're going to come back with some attachment or God only knows what, because humans are very interesting to other beings. We are very interesting. For one thing, we have all these emotions. Believe it or not, a lot of other entities don't have emotions. Actually, I think the majority of other beings don't have emotions. I mean, they have telepathy. They can see immediately if you're lying. They can see immediately. You know what I mean? Like it kind of cuts a lot of things out, right? It's pretty black and white what's happening. But us, no, we are a wild species, just completely unpredictable. And if you can only imagine, right, that if we're sort of like those zoo animals or circus animals, we're unique, we're different, we're exotic. They want to hang out with us. They want to see what we're doing. They want to see what we're about. They want to experience actually our emotions. And I've told this story before, but I have a dear friend who is out, who does a lot of work. A lot of her work is in the astral realms. She's very comfortable out there. And and she was out there, and this being came up to her, and it was already kind of a little weird because it didn't have a human face, right? It was just, I don't remember, but it was like maybe it was a mask or something. So that was already a little off-putting. But this woman does a lot of work out there. It's very hard to make her uncomfortable. Me, I probably would have been screaming all the way back to my body, right? Like those people that are afraid of clowns that come out of the sewers. That would be me. I would be gone, like gone. No, my friend is made of steel. She's made of cosmic steel. Anyway, so she looks at this thing, and the thing says to her, basically telepathy says, "Hey, I would like to work a deal with you. I would like to sort of ride shotgun in your body. I would like to, enter your body, go down into your earthly world and experience your emotions. And in return, I can give you like some of the things that I have, like bigger, more amazing intuition or psychic abilities and things like that. Like I would be able to give you more telepathy. I'd be able to give you more things. Now, here's the thing: there are limits in on the earth. Okay, so it's not like, if you want to call it an alien or whatever, it's not like that thing could come on the earth and give me its same abilities, because our earth has a vibrational set point, like vibrational guardrails. We can only get so big here, or we can only have so many of these types of abilities. Now, the earth is expanding, we're evolving. So yeah, our abilities are evolving. So we do have more now than we did say 50 years ago, for sure. But it's not like this thing that's going to come down here and make her into like a wizard and she's going to be able to control the earth. But at the same time, this thing probably got the better of the deal because it would get to feel her emotions within her body. It would coexist in her body. And it was like not threatening. It was just like, "Hey, I got a deal for you. Does this sound like a good deal to you?" And my friend was like, "No, it doesn't sound like a good deal." And it was like, "Okay, cool." And left. So this is what I'm saying. If you're going to do astral travel as a human that's not used to that, you're going to be outside of your comfort zone. And you need to be aware that you're going to be completely outside of your human abilities. It's a different world up there. It's a different world out there. I have spent a lot of time out there myself, and my guides have constantly had to remind me, "You're human, Susan. You're human," because I'm over there acting like I'm one of them, and I'm not. I'm limited. I incarnated in this human suit. I have limitations. Even though, yes, I can go out in the astral and I can travel and I can do all those things and I can talk to them and I can do those things, I don't have their abilities because they're different. They don't have my emotions. Different. Okay, so if you're going to do astral travel, I would suggest you do a lot more research about astral travel. Number one, I mean, I would read books about it. I would watch video. I would really educate myself. If you want to be safe and you want to experience this, I would be safe about it. Secondly, my idea of safety is to have, what they're showing me is, I think I would have special spirit guides, which I've got lots of videos on spirit guides, but I would call in what I call the helpers, right? So there's angels and spirit guides that are unemployed. All you got to do is ask. Okay. They're not the ones that are assigned to you. The ones that are assigned to you are there for a reason. Your soul contract. That's that's their job. Don't be asking them to do something else because then I ain't going to talk to you. However, there's a lot of help. Angels and other spirit guides are ready to help you do anything. Do your taxes, do a remodeling job, lose weight, learn your intuition, protection. They're all available for you. So I might start working with, before I took on my journey, you would stop and get gas, you would stop and maybe get some snack. I mean, you'd prepare, right? So I might start getting prepared by working with whoever it is I'm working with, whether that's a goddess, whether that's something in the Wiccan or an angel or a spirit guide, whatever it is. I would be working with that energy for a while to have a relationship with them, to know that I've got that connection, you know? And now I can go out and experiment and travel knowing that I've got sort of backup or entities around me that are not human that can help me get through that or experience that safely, okay? So that's just what I would suggest you do. I would suggest you prepare to do it. Now, another thing you can do is you can have a destination. That's so important again. So you don't just get in that spiritual lift and fly off into whatever space that you end up at, right? You might decide to go, you might actually they're showing me my guides are hilarious. 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 Okay, I know. They just showed me, I swear you guys, they showed me a tour bus. So you might just make it your intention. Everything is about intention. If you don't intend to go to work, you're not going to get paid, right? Our intentions are super important, not only in the physical realm, but in the non-physical realm. So if your intention is, I'm going to take this meditation, I'm going to astral travel, but I'm going on a tour bus. And my tour bus is going to be filled with other humans just like me. And they're going to be led, the driver's going to be this very important and very specially trained, um, safe person that's going to drive us and show us the sights. That might be a safe way to begin astral traveling, right? Like, so you're not out there by yourself. You're on a tour bus. You're protected. You've got an escort, whatever it is that you feel like you need, and you've got somebody to drive you around, so to speak, and show you the sights, whatever those are, right? Why not try that? I think that is a very safe way to do this. And I would, when you're doing anything, the next thing I want you to know is write it down, because your brain will forget it. Your brain will be like, that didn't happen. I don't know where Susan was or what was happening, but that's a waste of space. I need to remember this password, right? I need to remember to go to the grocery store tonight. That's more important than whatever she was over there doing at night. I don't know what that was. So you want to write it down. The immediate minute that you get out of that meditation or wake up from that dream, you're going to start writing it down. You might find that when you start to write this stuff down, you start to remember more things, that more details start coming in. Oh man, and now I'm remembering this and now I'm remembering that, because you're back in that energy, and you're close enough to having just experienced it that you can get back in it and you can get that information. So please write it down. Write everything down that you can think of. Did I smell anything? Did I see anything? Did I feel the chair? Was I floating? Did I see colors? Try to interview yourself, because if you just say that was really cool, I don't know what just happened, but wow, because you're like, that's the experience. But if you write down some questions before you go on that experience, what did I see? What did I feel? What did I hear? What did I think about it? Was I scared? Was I intrigued? What was the boring part? Write down questions before, while your brain is still thinking and engaged, that you can ask yourself after, when your brain is sort of halfway still on sleep mode. Because to do this work, our brain goes into sort of a sleep version, and then our subconscious takes over and makes it all make sense, because this is the language of the subconscious. It's not really the language of the brain. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a spiritual way shower. You're on my YouTube channel, and I really appreciate that. You can learn more about me, my classes. I have a vibrant online community where people like you and people like me hang out and get to know each other and support each other. As a matter of fact, I offer readings there. I do a lot with my members, and you can learn more about that at susanlynnmedium.com. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and leave me a comment. Have you had astral travel? Have you gone on a dream walking with someone? Have you had a visitation? Let's share our experiences, because I find that to be so helpful. It really helps us all connect, and it helps me see, wow, I didn't think about that. I didn't have that experience. That's really cool. You can open doors for other people just by sharing your experiences here, which is why I love my online community, because here is sort of a public place. Not everybody wants to share, but on my online community, which is completely separate from YouTube, completely separate from Facebook or Meta or anything else, it's a completely different platform that I pay for privately to keep it private. You can share these things, and you don't have to worry about people thinking about who you are or finding out who you are, because it's completely safe and completely private. My online community is only $12 a month. You can join it and cancel it with the click of a button anytime you want. I am there with you 6 hours a month, one on one in small groups, believe it or not, doing readings, doing my Soul Growth Sunday, and bringing outside practitioners to give you free classes every month. All of that for $12 a month, right? Check it out. You might find that it's just the thing you've been looking for. Take really, really good care of yourself. I'll see you next Wednesday.